So as we had said on Monday, this is Unit 8 is conic sections, is the last Algebra 3 college algebra unit that we will do this year. It will take us all the way up to your final, which will be the last day for seniors. Your final is going to be that last week or a couple of days before your last day. Going forward, we will be alternating formative and summative quizzes until we get to the summative test in the evening. Okay? So this week is a formative, so it's going to start with a formative. So this Friday you'll have a formative quiz. Next week, Thursday, you'll have a summative quiz. So then it's spring break. Then when we come back, you'll have a formative quiz, then a summative quiz, then a formative quiz, then a summative quiz. Then I think it's a formative and a test. I think it's there. I can't remember the order. If there's so quiz. So you coming back after spring break, you'll have a formative quiz, summative quiz, formative unit test. That's the four weeks in class. So it might be another formative. Okay. Right. So from Monday, you should, and this should be on your supplemental note sheet. Remember, we divided our supplemental note sheet into where we took a blank piece of paper and we broke it down into halfway vertical, halfway horizontal, third of the way horizontal. Okay, all right? So up in this upper half up here should be all of your parabola notes. Okay? And really, you have all of your parabola notes already. We gave them to you on Monday. So up there, in that box up there on your note sheet should be the two formulas, the two general formulas for parabolas, which again were x minus h quantity squared equals plus or minus 4p times y minus k. And then the other one was y minus k quantity squared equals plus or minus 4p times x minus h. So those two should be in that upper left-hand box on your supplemental note sheet. Then we had 5 steps to graphing a parabola. What was the first step in graphing a parabola? Direction of opening, okay? Right? And what did we say? There were 2 things that we had to look at for identifying the direction of opening. What were they? Variable is squared, okay? That was the first one. Variable is squared. Do I have this one? Yes. Variable is squared is going to tell me up or down. So if x is squared, it's up and down. If y is squared, it's left and right. Okay? What was the second thing that we had to look at? Positive or negative on that 4p one. If it's positive, then it opens up if it's opening up, or opens right if it's opening left and right. Okay? Up and right are the 2 positive directions. Down and left are the 2 negative directions. So we should have something along that lines in there with your, on step number 1. Okay? Step number 2 then from Monday. Identify the vertex. And that was the point h comma k from our 2 general formulas. And because both h and k in our general formulas are in parentheses, we need to think oppositely about them. Okay? So step number 2 was we need to find the vertex, thinking opposite, and this was the point h comma k. Love it. Step number 3 from Monday was what? Find p. Okay, so we take that number, that coefficient in front of our non-squared variable, and that's equal to 4p. Okay, so 4p equals the number in front of the non-squared variable, divide both sides by 4, and we get p. Okay? Now, p is important to us because of why. Why is p so important to us? That we need to find it here in step number 3. It's the p is the distance from the focus to the distance focus to the vertex, or it's the distance vertex to the directrix. Okay? Yep. 2p would be the distance focus to the directrix. P would just be the distance from focus to vertex, vertex to directrix. Okay? So that's what P is. Very important. So then we can identify our focus. We can have a phrase. Focus. So we've got a parabola, a U. It's either opening up, it's opening down, it's opening left, or it's opening right. Where is the focus in terms of the U? Inside. Focus is inside the U. Where's the directrix in terms of the U? Focus is inside, directrix is outside, right? Okay? Right? So focus is inside, directrix is outside. Okay? So the directrix is outside of the U. Okay? Step number 4. Then what did we say we would get in step number 4 from Monday? The width of the parabola is how much? 4p, right? Okay? So the width of our parabola then is 4p through the focus. That's the width at the focus. So we take that 4p number, we cut it in half, and we either go left and right that many, or we go up and down that many from the focus. That gives us 2 points that are on our parabola, which then allows us to do what in step number 4? If we're graphing, what can we do now after we figure out the width? We can draw the parabola in. Okay? We can draw in the parabola. And then lastly, we had step number 5. What was step number 5? Axis of symmetry is the line that goes through the middle of the parabola, okay, which means it goes through the vertex and focus. Yep, it's the line connecting the vertex and the focus. Okay? So we've planned our work. Now let's work our plan. Here is our first one. Your first graph that we are going to do on our graph paper. Y equals 20, or excuse me, y squared equals 20x. Step number 1 from Monday, from what we just went over, said we need to figure out which way this parabola opens. It's y squared with a positive 4p value. So that's a right. Do we all agree with that? It opens to the right. Yep. So this opens to the right. Fantastic. Step number 2 says we need to identify the vertex. What is the vertex of this one? It is, but it really isn't. Vertex is h comma k, right? Well, what's the number that comes in parentheses with the x? 0, what's the number that comes in parentheses with the y? 0. So where's my vertex? 0, comma 0. So I like to put that on the graph, and then since it's opening right, I'm going to put a little V right next to it. I'm going to go in the upper left-hand corner of it to signify that is my vertex. Okay. Next, it said, step number 3 said we needed to find our p-value. What is 4p equal to? 4p is equal to 20. So what is p equal to? 5. Okay. So the distance to my focus is 5. The distance to my directrix is 5. In which way is the focus? Which direction, if my parabola opens to the right, which direction then is my focus? It is to the right, so I would go right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There would be my focus, which would be at the point 5, comma 0. Yes, sir. It's the number in front, it's the coefficient of the non-squared variable. So it's this number. So like here's the squared variable,
Okay.
right? Then you got the that's going to equal the non-squared variable. It's the coefficient of that non-squared variable. So, yeah. P is also the direction or the distance to my directrix. In which direction is my directrix? Left. And that would give me a vertical line in this case, since it opens to the right. Yes, again. Come on. Vertical lines have what for an equation? X equals, and in this case it's x equals negative 5. Horizontal lines are y equals. Okay. How wide is my parabola? It's 20 wide. So it's 20 wide, which means it's 10 up and 10 down. It's not 20 up and 20 down. It's 10 up and 10 down. Yeah. I think your grids are 10. Yep. Yep. Which that then now allows us to draw in the parabola. Arrowheads on the end. Love it. Okay. And then step number 5 says axis of symmetry. That's the line that connects the focus and the vertex. Which is y equals 0. Okay. if you'll notice on the homework, we ask for those specific things. Okay? If we ask for it in terms of you need to identify it, it needs to also be on your graph. Okay? So you should have your vertex on your graph with that little v. You should have your focus on the graph with a little f. You should have the parabola, and you should have the two lines drawn in, dashed, not solid, dashed in, because they are like asymptotes, but not really. Questions, comments, concerns, clarification? With that being said, what I would like you to do now is I would like you to graph x plus 2 quantity squared equals 16 times the quantity y plus 3. X squared with a positive 4p means that it's going to open up. Vertex, I think oppositely about. So that's going to be at the point -2, comma, -3. There's my vertex there. 16 is my width, or my 4p. So that means that 4 then is going to equal p. Since it is opening up, that means my focus is 4 up, which would be at the point -2, comma, +1. That means that my directrix is down 4, which is the line y equals, oops, wrong color. Y equals -7. 4, 6, and 7. Yep. My width is 16 through the focus, so that is 8 left and 8 right. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. That then allows me to draw it in. Axis of symmetry is come on. Why twice so slow? That was weird. Which is the line x equals -2. Questions, comments, concerns, vignettes? Yeah, it seems that that's going on forever. Just like you should have arrows on your line. Good? Try that one. Which way is it opening? To the left, because y is squared and it's a negative coefficient. So this one is going to open to the left. Okay? Where is the vertex? What do you got, Lincoln? 2, comma, -1? Yep. Because remember, the x's go with h and the y's go with the k. So sometimes it's got to be in reverse. So 2, comma, -1 would be right there. There would be my vertex right there. Okay. What is my 4p value? So +6, and we talked about that, we just absolute value on Monday. So 4p is 6. So then what is p? 3/2, 1.5, right? Huh? So that means if my opening is to the left, that means my focus is 1.5 to the left. Oops. No, it's a distance. So that's why we said on Monday that it was absolute value. Yeah, yeah. Because the direction then tells us the direction. Yeah. Right? So there's 1.5. That's my focus right there. Yeah. So that would be at the point then 1/2, comma, -1. My directrix would be 1.5, then the other way. To the right. So that's my directrix, and my directrix would be then the line x equals, what would that be, 5? No, 3.5 is 7/2. The width of my parabola is 6, so that is 3 up and 3 down. That then allows me to draw in. My axis of symmetry is y equals as long as you make it clear that you're going 1.5 and not 15.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to excruciating.
Yep. It's rare that we get outside of, because you're dividing by 4, so the most that you would have would be a 0.25. Okay. So. Okay. Good. You now have enough information to do 1 through 9 on your gold sheet for homework this week. That is due on Friday.